Hello viewers, welcome to the online classes of anatomy. I am Dr. A.K. Gupta, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, Government Medical College, Bettiah. Today I am going to tell you about accessory nerve. Accessory nerve is the 11th cranial nerve and it is primarily a motor nerve. It has two parts, a cranial part and a spinal part. The cranial part, the nucleus is nucleus ambiguous. From here, the fibers comes out as 4 or 5 rootlets and emerges through posterolateral sulcus and passes forwards and laterally towards the jugular foramen, whereas cranial part arises from the anterior horn cells of the spinal cord and passes backwards and laterally and emerges through the lateral funiculus. From first, second, third, fourth and fifth spinal segments, ventral rami. These fibers unite and ascends and passes through foramen magnum, enters into the cranial cavity and joins the cranial part and emerges through the middle part of the jugular foramen along with 9th, 10th and 11th. These again separate from each other. The cranial part joins the inferior ganglion of the vagus, whereas the spinal part passes backwards and downwards to the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle at its junction with upper fourth and lower 3/4, whereas it enters into the sternocleidomastoid, supplying this muscle and emerges through its posterior border at its middle and enters into the posterior triangle of the neck, superficial to the levator scapulae muscle. Then it reaches the anterior border of the trapezius muscle, passes deep to this trapezius muscle, supplying this muscle. So, this is the spinal part. Now the cranial part, which joins the vagus nerve and acts as part of the vagus. It passes to the pharynx, supplying the pharyngeal muscles except stylopharyngeus muscle. A branch gives off, that is the palatal branch, which supplies the muscles of the soft palate except tensor veli palatini, which is supplied by the mandibular nerve. The vagus nerve itself passes downwards up to the thorax, and from here it hooks a branch that is known as recurrent laryngeal nerve, which passes upwards in the cleft between the esophagus and trachea and ascends upwards and supply the intrinsic muscles of the larynx. So this is about the accessory nerve. The clinical aspect are the damage of the cranial part causes depression or flattening of the palatal arch, and there will be paralysis of the palatal muscles, pharyngeal muscles, leading to dysphagia, whereas involvement of the recurrent laryngeal muscle causes dysphonia. The muscles supplied by the spinal part, that is the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius, may be paralyzed. When the sternocleidomastoid is paralyzed, the face moves to the same side and upwards by the action of the opposite side muscle, that is known as wry neck or torticollis, whereas paralysis of the trapezius muscle causes drooping of the shoulder. These muscles can be tested by the sternocleidomastoid, tested by asking the person to move his face opposite side against the resistance, whereas trapezius can be tested by elevating the shoulder against resistance, whereas the paralysis of these muscles, soft palate and the pharynx, can be tested by asking the person to say ah. Asking to say the ah, there will be constriction of the pharyngeal and palatal muscles, but in paralyzed case there will be no constriction on the same side. And another test is the gag reflex. By touching the posterior part of the pharynx, there will be constriction of the muscles, but in paralyzed case there will be no constriction. So this is all about the accessory nerve. Thank you.